I think it comes down to the Constitution requiring, along with the statute that y'all cited, advice and consent of the Senate when you appoint someone to a position like a United States attorney. That requirement is there for a reason. It's been around for 100 and some years. People have followed it on a regular basis. And that's what you should do when you want someone to serve as your U.S. attorney. If you don't do that, and you fire folks who are then legitimately put in place pursuant to the same statute, it frustrates that advice and consent clause of the Constitution.
Mm-hmm. Roger, so you have a formidable task ahead of you, though. Legal experts are saying that this is going to be tough to win in court. The Times writing such a challenge would almost certainly entail a lengthy, difficult court battle. Are you willing to spend the time and the money that it will cost to wage this war in court against the Trump administration?
So those are some of the discussions I'm having with my lawyers, and we are working on those potential legal arguments, and we'll make a decision in the very near future. If I do proceed with a lawsuit, I make decisions because I'm in it and in it for the long haul. And so if it happens, you can expect that we're going to fight. If we decide that it is something that we can't do, then we won't do it.
Mm-hmm. Roger, this group of judges that confirmed you, I think it's important for people to know that it was 17 of them. 10 of them were appointed by Democrats. 7 were appointed by Republicans. But they confirmed you unanimously. And why is that? Because you have a storied career. You were a prosecutor in King County. Then you were a federal attorney as well. Just kind of going on a more macro level here, in any other era, you would be considered immensely qualified for this position. Republicans agree with it. Republican judges agree with that. Democratic judges agree with that. Can you sort of speak to what this does to the morale of folks like yourself? And there are many others like you out there in America who have worked very hard for your communities, for your state, for your country for a number of years. And then you get to this point where you can really be in a position to help a lot of people, and you fall victim to politics, not even, I would say, what we know as normal politics, but just extreme partisan politics that elevates somebody who, in some cases, has never tried a case to the point of becoming a U.S. attorney.
So this has nothing to do with who I am or my qualifications. To me, it has everything to do with the rule of law and the process that's set out in statute and based in the Constitution. This process that the judges followed is authorized, has been around for a long time, and it's been used in the last 10 years twice in the Western District of Washington. This is not some newfangled, crazy idea that someone came up with. The judges in this case made it even more of a thoughtful process by bringing in a bipartisan commission before they started looking at candidates. So there was a Republican-led bipartisan commission that candidates interviewed with after submitting their papers. And then once those candidates were passed on, we interviewed with the district judges in the Western District. And yeah, there are 17 of them. I don't like calling judges Republican and Democrat. Judges do their own thing once they get on the bench, particularly when they're there for life. So oftentimes what they do has very little to do with who appointed them. But it is a wide range of personalities on that court. I've appeared in front of most of them for a lot of my career and have had them as colleagues for parts of my career. And these are really brilliant, thoughtful, smart people who want to make good decisions for the Western District of Washington.
You know, I think, Roger, that actually what you just stated is actually the core of any case that you bring down the line on this matter, because you set out, I thought, very well exactly what the job is and the process to get that job, to be in that position, was honored by the judges, was honored in a way that they tried as best they could to clear out the partisan taint and sort of really go about it the right way. And so I think that the way you laid it out is a very solid, sound argument that can be made that shows just how, to Luke's point, how partisan this effort has become, how tainted it has become, because this is not about the rule of law, but it is about, subjecting the rule of law to the political whims of a president who knows that the rule of law is going to get him at some point, is going to get the appointees, is going to get the decisions he's making, is going to get something that he doesn't want got. And so I just appreciate the way you said it, because I think, to me, it's foundationally why you're probably thinking about going further with this, because you actually believe in that idea of the rule of law.
Well, if I get a compliment from Michael Steele, then I've had a good day, so I appreciate it. I've been a prosecutor for the better part of my career. Being a prosecutor and doing it well relies on the rule of law and following it and adhering to it and being really careful with it. I have spent my career trying to exercise my discretion when it's given to me in a way that respects the rule of law and respects the intent of whatever congressional legislation that we're following. And so I want to continue doing that. It really is about the process here. And you can't have somebody in the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Western District who has not been put there appropriately. It's just not the way it's supposed to work. And when that happens, it puts into limbo every indictment, every subpoena, every case, and the morale of the office itself.